the machines that outrun sound. Imagine a machine so fast it makes a Formula One car look parked. We're talking about fighter jets that cross entire countries in minutes. Aircraft capable of breaking the sound barrier multiple times over. And here's the crazy part. Some of the fastest jets still dominating the skies in 2025 were designed before the internet even existed. One of these aircraft can nearly hit 2,000 miles per hour. That's faster than some rifle bullets. But even that speed starts looking slow compared to the absolute monsters aviation engineers once created. Today, we're counting down the fastest fighter jets still active in 2025. And by the time we hit number 1, you'll understand why Cold War engineers were basically insane geniuses. F-4 Phantom II, the flying brick that refused to die. The legendary McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II starts our list at Mach 2.23, roughly 1,470 miles per hour. And despite first flying back in 1958, it's still active today. That alone is unbelievable. Countries like Turkey, Greece, and Iran still operate these aircraft decades later. The secret? Pure brute force. The Phantom's massive General Electric J79 engines gave it absurd power, leading pilots to joke, "A brick can fly if you strap a big enough engine to it." And honestly, looking at the Phantom's bulky shape, the joke fits perfectly. But speed wasn't its only strength. The aircraft could carry up to 18,000 pounds of weapons, making it an incredible strike platform even by modern standards. The F-4 proved something important. Sometimes durability matters more than elegance. F-22, Raptor, America's invisible predator. At number 9 comes the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. Top speed? Mach 2.25, around 1,500 miles per hour. But raw speed barely explains why the Raptor is terrifying. The F-22 changed air combat forever because it combines speed with stealth. While older jets need afterburners to stay supersonic, the Raptor can maintain supersonic flight without them using something called supercruise. That means faster movement with less fuel usage and a much smaller infrared signature. Only 195 Raptors were ever built. And the United States refused to export them because the technology was considered too advanced. Even today, the F-22 remains one of the most feared air superiority fighters ever created. Fast, stealthy, and almost impossible to track. IAK, the fighter built from an embargo. The IAI has one of the craziest origin stories in military aviation. After France imposed an arms embargo on Israel in 1967, Israeli engineers basically said, "Fine, we'll build our own." The Kfir started as a French Mirage 5 design, but Israeli engineers upgraded it dramatically by installing the powerful American J79 engine, the same engine used in the F-4 Phantom. That transformation pushed the aircraft to Mach 2.3. Today, Colombia remains one of the few military operators still flying the Kfir. And honestly, the jet represents pure engineering stubbornness. An embargo accidentally created one of the fastest fighters in the world. MiG-29 Fulcrum, the Soviet acrobat. The Soviet-built Mikoyan MiG-29 was designed to challenge American fighters like the F-16. And it absolutely earned its reputation. Top speed, Mach 2.3, roughly 1,520 miles per hour. But the MiG-29 became famous for something else: agility. Its widely spaced engines and aerodynamic design allowed insane maneuverability that made the aircraft look almost unnatural during air shows and combat exercises. Even more impressive, it was designed to operate from rough airfields and damaged runways. Special intake doors protected the engines from debris during takeoff and landing, meaning the MiG-29 could operate from highways or improvised strips where many Western jets would struggle. It was built for war under terrible conditions, and that practicality made it legendary. F-14 Tomcat, the Top Gun icon. Few aircraft are more iconic than the Grumman F-14 Tomcat. Thanks partly to Top Gun, the Tomcat became a global aviation superstar. But beyond Hollywood, the jet was genuinely terrifying. Capable of Mach 2.34, roughly 1,544 miles per hour, the F-14 introduced variable sweep wings to carrier aviation. The wings adjusted depending on flight conditions, swept back for high-speed combat, extended outward for slower carrier landings. And unlike many fighters, the Tomcat could still hit incredible speeds while carrying heavy weapons loads. Today, Iran remains the only country still operating active F-14s, which somehow makes the aircraft feel even more mythical. MiG-23 Flogger, the Soviet interceptor missile. The Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-23 wasn't built for elegance. It was built to intercept targets as fast as possible, Mach 2.35, roughly 1,553 miles per hour. The MiG-23 also used variable sweep wings like the F-14, but with a very Soviet philosophy, efficiency first. The aircraft prioritized speed and interception capability over flashy dogfighting. Its mission was brutally simple: reach enemy aircraft quickly, destroy them, leave. Even in 2025, countries like North Korea, Syria, and Libya still operate the MiG-23. That longevity says everything about Soviet engineering priorities. Su-27 family, Russia's monster fighter dynasty. The Sukhoi Su-27 family became one of the most successful fighter platforms ever created. Top speed, Mach 2.35, around 1,600 miles per hour. But the Su-27's real strength is versatility. The design eventually produced the Su-30, Su-34, Su-35, and multiple Chinese variants. And unlike dedicated interceptors focused purely on speed, the Su-27 family could perform air superiority, ground attack, and long-range patrol missions. Modern variants like the Su-35 even feature thrust vectoring engines, meaning the engines themselves can physically redirect thrust during flight. The result? Maneuvers that genuinely look impossible. F-15 Eagle, the undefeated king. The McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle is one of the most successful fighter jets ever built. Mach 2.5, roughly 1,650 miles per hour. But speed is only part of the story. The F-15 has one of the most insane combat records in aviation history. Over 100 air-to-air victories, 0 losses in aerial combat. 0. That record is almost unbelievable. The aircraft was originally designed specifically to counter the Soviet MiG-25 after Western intelligence panicked over Soviet speed capabilities. And decades later, the Eagle is still in production. Modern versions like the F-15EX continue pushing the design forward with upgraded avionics and weapon systems. This aircraft even became the only fighter ever to shoot down a satellite. That's not a fighter jet anymore. That's basically science fiction. MiG-31 Foxhound, the missile hunter. The Mikoyan MiG-31 exists for one purpose: catch anything, no matter how fast it is. The Foxhound can theoretically reach Mach 2.83, around 1,900 miles per hour. It was developed as a replacement for the MiG-25, but added far more advanced radar and interception capabilities. Unlike earlier Soviet interceptors, the MiG-31 performs well at low altitude too. It can even hit Mach 1.25 at sea level. But there's one bizarre problem. Russian officials later admitted the aircraft's cockpit glass couldn't reliably handle its maximum speed anymore, meaning operational limits were reduced dramatically. Still, the Foxhound remains one of the most intimidating interceptors ever built, especially now that some variants carry hypersonic missiles. MiG-25 Foxbat, the Cold War monster. And finally, the fastest fighter jet still technically active in 2025, the Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-25. The Foxbat could hit Mach 2.83, nearly 1,900 miles per hour. And when Western intelligence first discovered it during the Cold War, people panicked. The aircraft looked impossible. It flew at 80,000 feet, moved faster than most missiles, and disappeared from radar before enemies could react. The MiG-25 was built mainly from stainless steel because normal aluminum would literally soften from heat at those speeds. Its engines were closer to missile engines than traditional fighter engines. And even today, no standard air-breathing fighter has truly surpassed what the Foxbat achieved. The craziest part? only a handful remain active today, meaning the fastest fighter jet on Earth is basically a ghost from the Cold War. The speed paradox. Why modern jets are slower. Here's the strange twist. Many modern fighters are actually slower than Cold War jets. Aircraft like the Lockheed Martin F-35, Lightning II prioritize stealth, sensors, networking, and survivability over extreme speed. Why? Because modern missiles already travel at Mach 4 or higher. In actual combat, pilots rarely exceed Mach 1.2 anyway. So instead of building the fastest aircraft possible, modern engineers build the smartest aircraft possible. The priorities changed completely. Beyond fighter jets, the real speed monsters. As fast as these fighters are, they're still not the fastest aircraft ever built. That title belongs to the NASA X-43, which reached an unbelievable Mach 9.6, over 7,000 miles per hour. The fastest manned aircraft ever was the North American X-15, which hit Mach 6.72. And then there's the legendary Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. Mach 3.2 sustained flight, over 2,200 miles per hour. A reconnaissance plane so advanced that parts of its technology still feel mysterious decades later. And now rumors surrounding the SR-72 suggest hypersonic aircraft might soon return, meaning aviation's speed wars may not be over yet. The machines that change the sky. From the brute force power of the F-4 Phantom, to the stealth dominance of the F-22, to the terrifying speed of the MiG-25 Foxbat. These aircraft represent some of the greatest engineering achievements in human history. Every jet on this list tells a story about the era that built it. Cold War fear, technological ambition, military competition, human obsession with speed. And honestly, the fact that many of these machines still dominate skies decades later says everything about how advanced they really were. But now I want to hear from you. Which jet impressed you the most? The F-14 Tomcat? The undefeated F-15 Eagle? The stealthy F-22? Or the insane MiG-25 Foxbat? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more aviation stories, military technology, and engineering legend.